Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the latest news of the day. Now, military diplomacy is something that India lagged in all throughout. It was done in fits and starts. We were never serious about it. Till lately, where India has really started reaching out in terms of its military, in terms of its manufacturing prowess, in terms of military to military connections. Even during the time when I was in the army, in Officers Training Academy, it used to be Madras those days, now it's Chennai. In OTA Madras, we had no foreign cadets, but now we do. Foreign cadets were always there in the NDA and the IMA, but not at OTA. Today in OTA, there are foreign cadets. And the total quantum of foreign cadets has exponentially increased. And why is India doing that? Why should India do that? India is doing it because you have to understand the context in which this is done. First of all, military to military contacts across the world provide a great bridge, a great military / diplomatic bridge between two countries. How countries talk to each other. Also, there is this great sense of camaraderie in the army. Course mates are brothers for life. And just imagine, if there is, in one course, or one batch, if I may put it that way, for better understanding of a largely civilian audience, in one batch, you have cadets, one from Kenya, one from India, one from Tanzania, and maybe one from Saudi Arabia. And they grow in their respective careers, all having trained at OTA or IMA, all having trained there, right? Developing and building that sort of camaraderie, which lasts a lifetime. Imagine, after 35 years, one is going to be a general in the Indian army and the other guy is going to be a general in the Saudi army. And that's how it happens, and that's how relationships get made. Because when you are put in situations of fantastic stress, that is where true brotherhood comes out, and that is what the army does in the academy. So apparently in this financial year, so far, or if you take last year's data actually, more than 3,100 foreigners have been trained. In fact, the Indian Navy has been doing it. There are so many people, more than 75 cadets from Saudi Arabia training at Kochi, the southern command of the Indian Navy. They are being taught seamanship, they are being taught, submarine warfare, they are being taught the basics, of naval warfare. The Air Force is teaching foreign cadets how to fly fighter jets and how to fly helicopters and logistics. And the Indian Army is training them everywhere. Even during my time when I did VIHOS, it was in 1994, winter. I remember we had gone to this place ahead of Indore called Mau. There's an infantry school there, so we all are supposed to do our VIHOS from there, everybody from the infantry. And there we had, I remember Sri Lankan officers there, a couple of Sri Lankan officers, and I remember one odd African officer also as part of the course. And but today that number has increased. And it's everywhere. You go to the National Defence College, there are scores of foreign officers there. And that is for senior officers, at least the rank of a brigadier. I'm not saying that these officers did not come maybe 20 years before or 30 years before. That's not true. Of course they were there. I'm just saying that the quantum has increased. The entire quantity of these foreign students coming to India has increased, and this provides a bridge between countries. Also, another news which is very, very important is India's drone sector sees involvement from major corporations like Adani, Tata, Reliance, and numerous SMEs and startups. So far, made in India drones, and we don't even know about this because it's not discussed in the media. But do you know that the Indian Armed Forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force combined, are actually using between 2,000 to 2,500 drones, all of which have been manufactured in India. All of which, I repeat, have been manufactured in India. 2,000 to 2,500 drones, and every single day they're making better and better drones and giving it to the armed forces. Drones are also being made for agriculture, for mapping, for so many other purposes. But today we're talking about defense. So I'll stick to defense. They are, and they're saying that the gap between the PLA and the Indian Armed Forces is closing fast. The gap is closing. A few years back, drone warfare, China was far, far ahead of India, far, far ahead. But in the past 3-4 years, we've really caught up. We've created a drone ecosystem, and today India is churning out drones like cookies. right? So they're all over. And most of these drones are for reconnaissance, for, tracking, etc. And now India is also working on strategic drones, which would be armed in nature. So India is taking around 31 drones, if I'm not mistaken. 31 drones India is taking from General Atomics, a United States of America based organization. So we are buying these armed drones. So overall, the drone profile of India is really growing and now giving dividends, and the ecosystem is getting developed, ladies and gentlemen. Ecosystem is getting developed, and I would really wait for the day, even today when I go, I wanted, to see if there are drones available. I wanted to see if there were drones available for, in one of these websites like Amazon or something like that. There are Indian drones, but most of the drones are Chinese drones. I hope that very soon, by the end of this year or next year, we would have no Chinese drones and we would have Indian drones of all kinds. It will be lovely for all of us to actually go ahead and buy an Indian drone which says very proudly, made in India. And the last news that I have for you is fantastic news. We had shared with you earlier on this very platform that the Rafale team from Dassault Aviation had come to India and they were negotiating the price for 26 RAFALE Ms. This is the marine version. This is for the Indian Navy. And they're supposed to fly off aircraft carriers and land on aircraft carriers. So these are special purpose aircrafts, unlike the ones you see on land, right? The price has almost been negotiated with, so the media is throwing up a lot of figures. We don't know. We don't know. We are not absolutely certain if that is the final price, but they're saying that for 26 Rafale fighters is going to cost approximately 40,000 crores. That is what they're saying, approximately 40,000 crores. And a lot of people on social media are saying, hey, why does it look like they are more expensive than the Air Force Rafales? Of course they will be. Of course. Their configuration is different. Their configuration is different. You see, that deal was done 4 years back, 5 years back, or even 6 years back. I don't know. This deal is being done today. Of course, there'll be acceleration in price. You can't avoid that. Of course, when you have more and more stuff put for the requirements of the Indian Air Force and the requirements of the Indian Navy are totally different. These are 4.5 generation fighter aircraft. And the requirement of the Indian Navy is that essentially these are heavier fighters, right? These are heavier fighters. They carry more payload and they have this unique ability to take off from an aircraft carrier and land on an aircraft carrier. An Indian Air Force Rafale cannot land on an aircraft carrier because it's not built to land, and obviously the Indian Air Force does not have aircraft carriers. Why would they need such a Rafale? But the RAFALE M is configured for a different purpose. And the more and more you put inside an aircraft, I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this facility, because the base price is one thing. Yeah? You have a base price, but this is the base price. And now, according to Indian conditions, that aircraft has to be configured, right? So maybe a European country will get the Rafale. I'm just giving an example for better understanding. A European country will get Rafale for this price, a certain price, because they have a certain threat perception. Okay? Our threat perception is different. We have two nuclear powers side by side. With both, we have fought wars in the past. There is Pakistan and there is China. So what do you want in your Rafales? You want something else in your Rafales. You don't want the same Rafales that are being sold to an Arab country or to a European country. You want different Rafales because your enemies are different, your operational scenario is different. So for all the people spreading rumors on social media that, hey, this Rafale is so expensive, it will be. It will be. And this is the kind of money you have to spend if you have to fight. There is no other way, right? And we are making Tejas aircraft also, which is a wonderful aircraft, and we should encourage it. But the Rafale is twin engine. Tejas is a single engine aircraft, and there are so many other differences. So ladies and gentlemen, this is all that I have for you today. If you like this video, press the like button. I'll catch you again tomorrow with another fresh news. Till then, Jai Hind.